To play for Rogue's side here, I feel like when you get really nervous for these matches, you start to get your bowels going. You start to feel that feel of where you just have to go, regardless of what it is you have to do. And
you know, he might have also just wanted like a little bit more time in general, and that was the only way to get it. He's like, I'm not ready yet. I need like 45 more seconds. I'm going to go to the bathroom, wash my face, then come back. You know, he might not have even had to actually use the bathroom to empty himself, but rather to cleanse himself. You know, with the sink there. Now, Reality is 3-4. He's 2-0 against Zerg. His mech style is pretty awesome. His plays against Sulky were really, really fun to watch, and I think that on this map, that's pretty good for mech. Not as good as it was for mech anymore now that it's been changed. Could be quite strong. Don't forget the creep tumors on the islands have been removed, so that's something that could come into play in this matchup if he decides to play that slow turtley style.
Yep,
really hoping I'm hoping he's going for that timing, Brennan. No, Rogue looks finally ready. Both these players are in the lobby. If Rogue is able to win this match, it's all over with a 3-1 victory. Can Reality bring us to the ace match?
LTA는 SK텔레콤.
Down here in the bottom right on Outboxer in the green for Generic Green Wings, the Zerg player, Rogue.
And to the top left in the pink for Samsung Galaxy Con, it's Reality. Making his opponents face him all the time.
You mean like face the reality?
Yeah, facing reality.
Face the reality of the situation.
Yeah,
and,
just face the face the reality here. Not face the noise, man. Face the music. Not really sure like where that expression comes from, but you know, face the music, Brendan.
Yeah, I guess like the music is like, I don't know. If you think about a concert, it's like really loud. It's like in your face.
Yeah,
like,
so I was thinking like a big speaker.
Right now. Face that speaker and then deal with what you're being dealt with right now. And,
you like are put next to a big loud speaker. It's like making your body vibrate, and you just like turn away in fear. It's like, no, it's time to face the music. And you're like, that's gonna hurt my ears. I remember the first time I went to a loud concert, I was like maybe 8 or 9 years old, and it was just so loud. Like, I felt the vibrations in my body, and I was like, whoa. It was some of the music my parents really liked that I didn't like, and I can't even remember who it was now. It was a music festival, so it wasn't like a concert. And I was not like in dangerously close to anything dangerous. And I was like, I can't believe you went to a concert when you were 8. Like, it was like on the edge of a concert. It's still even that.
I know a bunch of my older relatives talk about, you know, in the 70s and 80s, they used to be going to concerts like all the time for so many different rock bands and stuff, and the speakers used to be so loud. And I'm sure like the safety regulations back then were also like not as good as they are now, so they were just like being constantly facing the music.
They were facing the music, man.
And their hearing is, you know, definitely damaged from that, which is unfortunate. But
I can just imagine somebody in the 70s being told by like their father to like, you know, get out of the house, you know, get a job and face the music. And, like,
gotta face the
I'm
music,
gonna do what you said, Dad. And he just goes to like all these concerts and travels around like hitchhiking and stuff. It's like, no, that's not what I meant. All right, well, I mean, we've explored this concept and not really come up with a reasonable answer, but in this game so far, we're gonna have very similar openings to what we've already seen. We have the Reaper opening, we have the faster Zerling speed. Assumed here by Rogue. He could do like a fast roach push or something off 2 base. That'd be pretty weird, but he is getting the gas.
You know, in matchups like this, it's kind of hard to mix it up really early game. It's kind of like, unless you're doing something crazy, you're pretty much going to get very similar builds most of the time to open up.
It's figured out, right? This matchup is like more figured out than any other matchup right now, and to do something crazy is to like CC first. Or like just barracks expand without Reapers. That's like pretty crazy just because it's different. Or to do a Nidus like we saw in the previous game is pretty crazy. So the Reaper is just going to kite around these Zerlings once they get off creep so that he can actually do a little bit more damage and not be so close to those Zerlings on his way out here.
How cool would it be if Rogue just did the exact same build? He just like watches that game. If he wasn't in the bathroom, he's like, well, I'm going to do the same thing. You know, if you look at Reality's base right now, he has the same portion of his main base not scouted right now. Could be weird.
It could be. Now we have the factory on the way back at home. It's a normal transition into bio, but It could be, Brennan. It could be the first sign that we see that reality mech. Factory is step 1 to mech.
Yeah. Well, he's going to get 3 Reapers out. Keeps 1 at home just to be safe against, any 2 Zerglings over there being really sneaky. Could possibly try to get into the main base. Wants to keep those guys out.
Yeah. Yeah, no speed's coming up, so the possibility of that is there. 3rd command center is dropped here. And still quite a bit of gas being produced here from Rogue out of that refinery, out of that extractor. At the geyser. Pulling it out with those drones. I know I've said this before, but I'll say it again. Something cool about Heart of the Swarm, if you look to the top right, the gas. The Terran's Vespene gas is in barrels. The Zerg is in these little pouches, and the Protoss is in like a cube, but it's like always like that in the top right for the race.
Yep. Small little details that were added into the expansion. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool to add those in.
It's exactly how they look when they're being mined. It doesn't look identical.
Yeah.
Well, 3rd base is going up, and Korean commentators went pretty crazy when they saw that stem. They wanted to see mech just like I did, but we are going to see bio, in fact.
Yeah, very interesting. Not going to play to what he's known for. And actually, with that Overlord, that wasn't cleared out. There was no Marines on the ground to actually clear that out. He's going to see. He's going to know. He knows the stim just went down. He saw the upgrades get started there with that Overlord, so should have a good idea of what's coming his way.
Yeah, and back at home, he's taking a 3rd base. He's drone up pretty heavily, adding a few more drones. And, once he gets all those extractors up, he's going to be able to get his upgrades and get his Baneling nest, get Baneling speed out just to make sure he doesn't get hit by any bio timing. The E-bays, of course, are a little bit slower than they would be on a faster upgrade-oriented build where you just take your 3rd command center a little bit later and get more gases earlier. So he's not going to be massively ahead of the Zerg in upgrades. This hatchery is so far along at this point that he's definitely not going to be able to get a cancel on that. He wants to fight these queens, on the other hand. With the extra Reaper damage at the back, he's able to, scare Rogue a little bit, but I think Rogue is just totally content here with what's happening. Not going to really panic too much. In fact, make it a Reaper here. Ooh, so close.
Doesn't quite get it. Reality just continuing to poke at the front. He's going to have, +1/+1 on the way, as well as that stim coming along. So going to want to weaken those units as much as possible if he wants to go for it. Rogue knowing what's coming his way. He's going to add that Baneling nest and the Spire. Correct response to this. So he should be in a decent spot.
A starport is now finally on the way, as well as additional barracks being added here. So we'll see what the plan is going to be for that. I mean, the plan is obviously to get medevacs out and it had additional Marines, but how much does he commit to harassment? Ooh, creep spread going down here, so he's not going to land that command center all too fast. Scan goes down on the main base too, and he's able to identify the Spire and the Baneling nest, so he knows, okay, pretty standard play coming out here. He actually doesn't have any Marines over here just yet, so there they finally go.
Yeah, that's disgusting. Get that Overlord out of here, that's what Rogue was doing in the bathroom before he got to the booth.
Whoa, Brennan, you just said that. Yeah, I'm sure he was just spreading some creep on the sink so that the person afterwards couldn't use it.
Of course. That's what I was talking about.
Five Mutalists on the way. And he's going to have Baneling speed here pretty quickly. And that's really important because you get the Baneling speed out this fast, then it's really hard to actually commit to a big attack and clear up a lot of creep. It's also really hard to do that when your medevacs aren't out yet. So with the faster 3rd command center, you're not really going to be able to do this because your barracks are later. You don't have enough Marines. You need the medevacs because without the medevacs, you can't pick up when the Banelings and the Lings roll in to fly back with those boosters and escape the Mutalists and repeat that process. So, I mean, everything is looking tech-wise pretty good for Rogue here. It's just that the 3rd base economy that's up for reality right now is a really scary thing that he needs to do damage to right now, and that's why these Mutalists fly out. They're going to check for any medevacs they can find. Doesn't find any over here. Sees the army going towards his creep. Is actually going to engage here with Baneling speed and Zerglings, but that's a lot of Marines. I'm not so sure about this, but no splitting whatsoever.
Yeah, no splitting at all, but it looks like there's enough Marines left over and not enough on the ground for Rogue, and it's going to force Rogue to come back, and a bit of an engagement there. Pretty even trade both ways.
Yeah. If he had split his Marines just a little bit more, I think he could have actually taken a nice engagement, reality that is, but a bit of a surprise engagement. I think he was a little bit shocked by that because that was a kind of funny engagement. He didn't see the Mulus, and the Mulus came in from a weird angle. Now the Mulus is going to come over from a pretty normal angle, kill an SCV to stop that depot, killing a Mule as well, forcing another stem. These Widow Mines over here getting into position. One of them does burrow. The other one, unfortunately, though, does not get away.
Yeah. Fourth base going to finish here for Rogue. Going to transfer a bunch of drones over there, get that economy going. Just continuing with the upgrades here. He does have the +1/+1, and he's getting the +1 for air as well. Going into the +2/+2, of course, for ground, the melee upgrades for Zerglings and Banelings.
Yeah, and the +1 for the Mutas is give him the ability to shut down those medevacs a little bit faster, and also give him the ability to fight turrets a little bit better once the Mula's count gets really high. This creep spread here, by the way, for Rogue is awesome.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's just unbelievable. Like, every single passageway towards the base of the Terran right now is being creeped up.
I mean, it's not really necessarily even so much so because his creep spread is better than all sorts of Zergs. It's just because this is the first time that we're seeing right now that Reality has actually moved on to creep to scan and remove it, because he's had a little bit more of a passive build that's more upgrade focused and economy focused rather than attack based. This style is something that we don't see all too often in Korea. At least when you do, there's still a little more aggression to it. He's playing very passively here. And this gives Rogue a lot of opportunities to just control the whole map. Kills that Viking that was chasing out his Overlords, not really getting a whole lot of use out of that. And he's going to be counterattacked here. Mulus are going towards the natural. Bigling, Baneling attack coming over here from the east. And so, of course, yeah, he saves the SCVs over at his third base. But the Natural's now under attack. With that +1, he kills the turret. A lot of SCVs in danger here. I can't believe he sent those back to mine. That was a bit too soon.
Oh my god, so much damage being done by this two-pronged attack. And now he's going to come in there into the main. He goes over to the third base again to draw the army over, and he's going to focus down this turret and get a bunch more SCVs as this army clumsily tries to come to the main base. Just more and more damage going down. We see the Harvester count right now, 85 to 56, but at the same time, Reality trying to do a counter drop over here. Looks like it may be cleaned up with the Banelings that are going to come out. Definitely not as much damage done here for Reality.
Still a decent trade with those Marines and that little choke point in between the two minerals, and he's even got one Hellbat and a Marauder. That dastardly duo over there going to clean up some of those tumors. He drops these units out so he can at least trade down 2 Mutas. If he gets 3, that's actually even a bad trade for Rogue to kill that medevac. So that was nicely done. Reality's moving pretty far on creep, and that is a lot of speed. Banelings, how much damage can he get here? Pretty nice connect so far. And no Mutalisk to help clean this up, but as soon as they fly over, this could be a disaster for Reality. He's got one Thor here, but that's not going to be enough. All those Marines are gone. The Thor is gone now as well. And Reality just not really having enough to deal with these Banelings here.
Oh my god. So much green right now coming across the map for Rogue, and with the Mutas joining in here, there's just no army left for the Terran. We see the reinforcements coming out of the barracks, but as long as those Banelings get decent hits, they don't really get decent hits, but it's not really going to matter. So much damage being done here by Rogue.
Not sure what that Overlord was doing, but he did die. He gave his life for the cause. Uh-oh. Well, this is happening. Okay, he realized. +2 for the Mulus is started. He's going to pick off maybe another medevac. Not quite. Does eat a very nasty Thor shot there. But it's now, of course, 4 bases for Rogue against just the 3 bases of Reality with a very weak economy. And he just needs a little bit more time to regroup, get his Baneling count back up, and then go in again. He's making 17 Banelings right now.
Yep, this is the Zerg. You know, it comes in waves, and if you get a really good attack on, the next wave is just going to be gigantic. Whereas for the Terran, it's not going to be nearly as big. We see, Reality right now at 40 SCVs on 3 bases. That's not full saturation at all. And he's just struggling hard, man. Here's the big attack now.
Oh, my goodness, Brendan.
Man.
So many Banelings rolling through here. And Thor gets taken out. These Mirars want to tank it, but the Mutalisks are going to make quick work of them. And there's just, it doesn't even matter how well he splits here. The Lings alone are basically dealing with this. The Banelings cleaning everything up, going to the third base to eliminate the last of those SVs. The Mules as well. The command center here will fall. And he's going to start killing this barracks. GG. Samsung will fall 3-1 to Generic Green Wings, adding a +2 indicator, bring themselves to a 1-2 for round 3.
This is the kind of matchup they needed. They're down at 0-2 and -5 before this, and getting the +2 in a win is very big. Got to live up to their names as the round 2 champions. They gotta start getting these wins, and they do against Samsung. Rogue playing a very solid game. Nothing out of the ordinary. He got the scout on the bio, and he just went pretty standard. Got a bunch of Mutalists out there. Went for a nice two-pronged attack, and Reality kind of just fell apart, to be honest.
I just don't think Reality is as good at bio as he is at mech. What do you think? On a map like this, I'm a little bit disappointed he didn't try to play his normal style.
Yep, I agree wholly. I mean, even on a map like this, mech is just so strong. We've seen Terran